Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Advertising Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the advertising space. And joining us today from Portland, Oregon is Lauren Ridgley with Left Hand Agency. Lauren, thanks so much for joining us today on Advertising Champions.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, I love a good name, so I want to know what you're doing over there at Left Hand Agency, but I got to ask, what's the origin story behind that?
Well, I am a Southpaw myself, and so is my COO, Sarah. Lefties tend to have a reputation for being more creative, which is, the background of my career for the majority of it has been on the creative side, although media buying and strategy sort of came in the last 6-7 years. So when I was looking at a formation of an agency name, I thought that's one of my defining characteristics. So let's add it in.
I love it. And one of the defining characteristics of Left Hand Agency is storytelling. And you just told a fabulous story.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we are a full service agency. We really set out to be more of a creative shop, and in the last year or so have really onboarded more and more media strategy buying clients. So a lot of our clients do their creative in-house, but we advise them on some of the storytelling elements, and some of them we do it ourselves. So yeah, we definitely consider ourselves experts at storytelling and experts at helping our clients understand when they need to refine their creative.
And Lauren, let me ask you this. Storytelling, authenticity, those things have been coming up in conversations about this is the current marketing trend. This is how you tell a story, advertise a product. Can you share a little bit why you think that storytelling has become such a core and particularly authentic storytelling versus just talking about a brand's features?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, most of our audience now, what's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning is you're checking your phone, whatever social media channel is your favorite to go to. What we're seeing, and we've seen this for years, is that traditional advertising doesn't really do well in that space because people don't want to be talked at. It needs to be a conversation. So the brands that have emerged really strong have grasped that concept from the get-go that they need to be authentic, not so polished. I mean, back in the day, we wanted to have, your spots go through edits and edits and edits so that they can appear perfect at the end of it. Well, the audience nowadays wants to appear like they've been spoken to from a friend, and friends don't speak to you perfectly. So adjusting that has been a challenge for every agency as they move from traditional advertising into these spaces where it's really got to be authentic.
And you talked about the last 6 years or so, you've added strategy and media buying, and I get it. You have to, right? You can't just be creative and survive anymore. You need to make sure that creative is getting to the audience that needs to see it to buy the product for the client that you're creating the creative for. So talk a little bit about your approach to finding that right market, that right target, how you use your data to make sure that at the end of the day, the right people see the creative that you are putting together and the stories that you're telling.
Yeah, I mean, we dive really deep into the data targeting behind it. That's one of the most beautiful things about, sort of the shift to everything being digital, and having a lot of data analytics behind the scenes to help you refine what you're doing. So a lot of what we talk about is what kind of feedback loop can we get from the creative when we put it out there. Whether or not it's a percentage of videos that were completed or engagements, and it really does depend on the individual client objective. But setting out in advance, what is the objective of this creative and what is the KPI that we're going to be looking at as our primary success metric. So setting that out in advance, and a lot of that's not very sexy, but that's really what we get for our clients, is digging under the hood and giving them feedback and saying, like, look, it doesn't look like they made it to completion. We need to either be shorter, get the hook off the top first. So making adjustments based on the feedback loop that we get. And really a lot of that is a lot of testing. We do a lot of A/B testing, and I call it ABCDEFG testing because we do a lot of different parameters that you have to get in there and do. You're testing your audience, you're testing your creative, and trying to make assumptions based on some of the data feedback that you get from those, and continuing to refine the creative.
And Lauren, we have about 30 seconds left, but I don't want to run out of time to ask you, what is your best tip to tell a good story? How do you tell a good story?
Plan it out in advance and be authentic when you're actually going to be delivering the creative. Don't go off a script. I mean, give yourself some room to be authentic and time and space to breathe, and people will understand and feel what you're feeling in that moment.
All right. Beautiful. Way to land the plane, Lauren. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on Advertising Champions. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
And if you'd like to learn more about what Lauren is doing at Left Hand Agency, you can start by checking her out on dailyadbrief.com. Well, I'm your host, Charlene Chirk. Thank you so much for joining us for Advertising Champions. We look forward to learning something new with you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.